That famous intro signals the start of a deep dive into the touring history of one of the most successful bands to ever come out of the UK. I'm Rich Mahan. Welcome to Shivers in the Dark, on the road with Dire Straits.
Torture tattoo, and I've been riding on a gold string. With the cars of you screaming and slamming, and I don't know where I'll be tonight. But I'd always tell you where I am. Screaming ring of faces, seen her standing in the light. She had a ticket for the races. Yeah, just like me, she was a victim of the night. I put my hand up on the lever, and let it roll. I had one on band of fever. There was an arrow through my heart and my soul. The big wheel keep on turning, beyond burning up above. And I'm just high on this world. Come on and take a ride with me on a tunnel of love. Yeah, love sing.
There's a new box set called Dire Straits Live 1978 to 1992, charting the band's adventures on the road from modest beginnings to globe-straddling arena and stadium tours. We'll have plenty of their signature tracks from it and the memories of co-founders John Illsley.
I did things that he didn't want to do with the band, and in the early days, I was the tour manager, which was quite funny, really, trying to organise the Knopfler boys.
And Mark Knopfler.
I remember a long time ago a guy coming up to me at a university gig or something, and he'd said, I just want you to know I was literally suicidal today. And then he made a fist, with his arm, and he just said, I'm going to go on now.
Just to make it big and rock away, rock away. Yeah, rock away, rock away. Girl, it looks so pretty to me. It's like it always did. You like the Spanish city too, when we were a kid. Girl, it looks so pretty to me. Just like it always did. You like the Spanish city too, when we were kids.
Originally from 1984's live album Alchemy, Dire Straits and Tunnel of Love. What sort of memories did that stir up for Mark Knopfler?
There's a live Dire Straits box set just out, live history of the band.
Yeah.
The front end of it in particular, that must be, there's some memories of fond memories of early shows and stuff in there.
Oh, yeah, because, you're doing it. You're doing the thing that you've always wanted to do. That'll never go away. I had a great time with Dire Straits. I had a great time. From the whole thing. And one of the ways of controlling it was to stop it. I thought one of the ways is to try and control your own landscape and control your own world, because so much happened to you, so much happened to us.
Break hotel. me like a fool. Calling Elvis, is anybody home? Calling Elvis, you're all alone. Did you leave the building? Then come to the phone. Calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. All right. I don't tell you, I'm his biggest fan. Yeah, you gotta tell him, he's still the man. Got a long distance, baby, so far from home. Yeah, the only thing maybe, you put him on. Tell him I was calling, wish him well. Let me leave my number, Heartbreak Hotel. And I'll be tender, baby, don't be cruel. Turn to sender. Treat me like a fool. Calling Elvis, is anybody home? Calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. Did he leave the building? Can he come to the phone? Yeah, calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. All right.
Playing live has always been an important thing to me. It's an important side of the circle, really, important slice of it. And people know, I think, when they come to see a performance or come to be a part of it, that they know that I'm there because I want to be there. You know, I haven't disappeared off to somewhere else to do something else, that I'm still interested in that side of it. And I think that that's important, that the motivation is still there to play for people. Part of the joy of it is getting that little crew together again and setting sail once more. You know, it's a real adventure tour. But you've got to feel at home there. And as soon as there's a sound check and the band's there, or as soon as there's a rehearsal and the band's there, you know, and you're putting it all together, then I feel very at home.
Calling Elvis from the Dire Straits live album On the Night, and now part of the 78 to 92 live box set. And later we will be calling Elvis with a live Dire Straits cover of one of the King's early rockers, featuring a guest appearance by Phil Lynott of Thin Lizzy, another of the live adventures that Mark has always loved so much.
It's a fantastic side to it all. And you have to do away with a lot of, well, it would be better if, you have to do away with a lot of, well, if only we had a, it's not like that. You've got this amount of time and you've got to play all this music, and you just have to go with what's going on and try to organize yourself reasonably, and you have to find ways of making it fresh. You have to find ways of having some spontaneity on there as well, otherwise you would just become too repetitive. And so that's, you know, part of the fun of it as well. And when I say fun, I really mean that a lot of the time your ribs will be sore from laughing, you know, because the people that are involved, it's important to have that right kind of chemistry going on where everybody is pretty much on the same wavelength, and that's important too. And that doesn't just apply to the band, but it's a crew vibe as well.
Okay, let's get some rock going. Let it right down. She had another quality.
you feel very lucky to be able to reach people. And it's not just at the end of a performance, for instance, you don't expect just the girls to be crying. I mean, what's really fun is to see these big blokes built like bags of cement, you know, and they've come and they've folded their arms. I don't know what this is about, you know. They've been brought there, and they're going to have to be impressed to get a reaction out of them. And when you see them in tears at the end, that's, you know you've done something. I mean, I remember I remember a long time ago, a guy coming up to me I think it was after a university gig or something, and he'd said, you know, I just want you to know I was literally suicidal today. You know, but you've just, and then he made a fist, you know, with his arm, and he just said, I'm going to go on. I'm going to go on now.
These misgoverned mountains, home now for me. Mama, home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn two bare brothers in arms. Through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire, I witness your suffering as the battle rages high. And though they did hurt me so bad, fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms. There's so many different worlds, so many different songs. We have just one world, but we live in different ones. Now the sun's gone to hell. Got the moon riding high. Let me bid you farewell.
Brothers in Arms is a good example of a song that goes out and does things that you wouldn't have thought it would. It becomes a source of comfort to a lot of people. I can still remember I was on the radio one morning and a guy from a tank regiment called up and said that after the Gulf battle, they had a big tank battle one night, and in the morning they linked all the tanks up with their sound systems and they played it. That was their anthem, if you like. But I think it was a comfort as much as it wasn't a rallying cry to arms or anything like that. It wasn't, it wasn't meant that way, certainly.
That was from the last Dire Straits tour in 1992, a brilliant version of Brothers in Arms. Of course, by then the band had been a stadium attraction for many years, and as we'll hear later, that became the sort of thing that Mark Knopfler ultimately wanted to get away from. But no one could say that Mark and John Ilsley and their original bandmates Pick Withers and Mark's brother David hadn't done their 10,000 hours. In their very early days, they would play the venues that made up the London pub circuit. Mark and John will tell us more about those distinctly unglamorous days, and John recalls how you had to load in your equipment at the famous London pub venue, the Hope and Anchor.
Everything went down the beer chute, and we sort of tossed a coin to see who was going to be at the top and who was going to be at the bottom, and it seemed to be just Mark and I doing it. I don't think Pick got involved, and David was always doing something somewhere else. So
Yes.
It left to him and I to lower the bloody bass bin in. I'll tell you what, lowering it in was one thing, but getting it out was another. Because the ceiling in the Hope and Anchor was only about 8 feet high. And I remember one evening we were playing in there. I don't know, it was probably the second or third time we played there. It was so packed. Talk about hot as hell. No ventilation, no nothing. Everybody smoking, of course. Extraordinary atmosphere. But there were certainly places where you wanted to play. You wanted to play the Marquee, you wanted to play the Hope and Anchor, the King's Head in Upper Street, Dingwalls, and the Rock Garden. Because I think Rock Garden was run by an American guy who wasn't particularly, I remember having a conversation on the phone with him. He rang up the flat, I don't know how he got the number, and asked if we wanted to do a gig. And I said, well, you're one of the first people who've actually phoned us up and wanted a band that wasn't punk. The trouble with a name like Dire Straits, everybody thought we were a punk band.
When we were doing places like, the Rock Garden and the Marquee Club and the Upper Street, Hope and Anchor up in Islington and places like that, the money was all going on PA systems. But there might be, I remember when we'd said we're doing 4 shows at the Marquee Club in Wardour Street. I think we got a house record in that place. There was 1,000 people in every night. But the PA cost us, I think we got 120 quid for the gig, or 110, or whatever it would be. The PA cost us 100, so there was a fiver left, and then we'd buy some beer, and that would be it. You get a drink. So that was the truth of it back then. You're just going from gig to gig, hoping to keep it all together and hoping to get onto a tour or something like that, which we managed to do, and you just take it on from there.
By the summer of 1978, even though their success with their first album in the UK was still minimal and the single Sultans of Swing wasn't yet a British hit, Dire Straits were getting some prestigious support slots, international attention, and an invitation to play this BBC radio show at London's Paris Theatre.
And up comes a coaster, fast and in the sun. And over my shoulder, all you can see are the firelights. No money, no jackets, and no jeans are torn. Your hands are cold, but your lips are warm.
Down to the Waterline from the first self-titled Dire Straits album as featured on the Live at the BBC LP. There's more from the new live box set coming up, and we'll find out why Mark Knopfler started wearing a headband.
I just literally couldn't see. My sweat would sting my eyes, and I didn't used to be able to see my cord through my tears, because my eyes were burning.
She can see him on the jetty where they used to. She can feel him in the places where the sailors go. When she's walking by the river on a railway line, she can still hear him whisper, "Let's go down to the
Stay tuned to hear Knopfler singing Elvis with Thin Lizzy's Phil Lynott and find out why the band called it a day when they were still at the height of their success. That's when Shivers in the Dark on the Road with Dire Straits continues. Welcome back. I'm Rich Mahan, here with our Dire Straits live special, Shivers in the Dark. Mark Knopfler tells us how being on the road led directly to one of their classics.
Telegraph Road was like that. I was actually sitting, in a tour bus on the Telegraph Road itself in Detroit and thinking about what it would be like when it started. And at the time I was reading a book about the beginnings of a civilization, and I was just trying to think to myself of where, how it could have come about. So yeah, sometimes there's just it's like a collision between me and the place and what I happen to be looking at the time if I'm reading a book, if I am reading a book at all.
Used to like to go to work, but it shut it down. Got a right to go to work, no work to be found. Yeah, they say we're gonna have to pay what's owed. We're gonna have to reform a seed that got sown. Numbers up on the wires and up on the pole. We can always get out and straight to school. You can hear them singing at the Telegraph Road all the way down the Telegraph Road. Sooner forget, but I remember nights. Life was just a betting race. Between the lights, you had your head on my shoulder and your hand in my head. I am a little cold and you don't seem to care. But just believe I'm gonna get you. Might as darkness laying into your day. On all these rivers of headlights, these rivers of rain. From the anger that lives on the streets where these nights. But every red light, memory lane, to desperation, exploding into flame. I don't wanna see it all. All of these signs just saying, sorry man, we're closed. All the way. down the Telegraph Road.
Telegraph Road as performed on Dire Straits' On Every Street tour, and that's one of 4 previously unreleased tracks on the new version of the On the Night album from the new Dire Straits live box set 1978 to 1992. Next, a classic Straits show from 1983 at Hammersmith Odeon and a bit of live twisting.
Thank you. Come on, and let's get moving. You fit, Hal? Yeah. All right. We're going on a holiday now. We're going to take a bit of responsibility. Cost to live, and if you cold, you know the cost of living so low. Yeah. Gonna be so neat, do dance. Moving to the disco beat, oh yeah. Gonna be up to cool. Twisted mind, twisted mind, twisted mind of both, twisted mind of both. I'm a twisted fool, you got me twisted, yeah, twisted mind of both. Sitting in a small cafe now, swinging cabaret. You wanna see a movie, taking a show, you wanna meet new people at the disco. Oh no, oh no. Oh no! All right. Twisted mind. Twisted mind. Twisted mind of both. Twisted mind of both. I'm a twisted fool, you got me twisted. Yeah, twisted mind of both. We can still get information written all about the nation. You're never gonna be out of reach. There's a cold long song to be.
Oh yeah, I mean the road is a I love touring. I'm one of those very lucky people who enjoys the whole shebang as far as music goes, and I love writing and I love rehearsing more than anything, and I love recording and I love touring.
I'm a twisted fool. Got me twisted by your rules. Yeah, twisted by the book. You're gonna be so cute. Sunglasses and your birthday suit. Be the baby of my dreams. Now the ladies in the magazine, yeah. Gonna be so neat when we do rockabilly boogie. Cheek to cheek, oh yeah. Gonna be so cool. Twisted by the
Twisting by the Pool from 1984's Alchemy. Let's go even further back to 1979 and the Live at the Rainbow album, now available for the first time in the new box set. As promised, here's Mark trading Elvis vocals with Phil Lynott.
Well, that's all right now, mama. That's all right. That's all right now, mama. Come on, Phil. But that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right, mama. Anyway. Well, the mama, she done told me. Daddy done told me too. Some little girl you're fooling with ain't no good for you. That's all right. That's all right, my mama. Anyway. Well, that's all right, my mama. That's all right, it's true. That's all right, my mama. But that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. All right, my mama.
Recorded at the Rainbow in North London, that's where Dire Straits were just before Christmas 1979, with a surprise guest appearance by Phil Lynott on That's All Right Mama. Now here's bassist and co-founder John Ilsley talking about his bond with Mark and about John's extra role in their early touring days.
It's quite interesting with him and I. We both look at things quite differently, but we, in the end, we look at things with a similar attitude. And I think because the two of us were there from the beginning, and I did things that he didn't want to do with the band, and in the early days, I mean, I was the tour manager, which was quite funny, really, trying to organise the Knopfler boys. But anyway, so I did a lot of things that he left him alone to do what he did, and so we made a good team, really, a very strong team.
Okay, let's have a go at the single. Let's think song about a jazz band, partly a song called the Sultans of Swing, because that's what the band was called, the Sultans of Swing. Okay, let's do it.
In the dark, it's raining in the park. In the meantime, shout on the river, you stop and you hold everything. Band is blowing Dixie, double fall time. You feel alright when you hear the music ring. Inside, but you don't see too many faces coming in out of rain to hear the jazz go down. Competition in other places, yeah, but the horns they blow that sound going way on down south.
I remember seeing you mentioned the Rock Garden, and I saw Dire Straits at the Rock Garden end of '77. I mean, it was a sweatbox of a place, wasn't it, in Covent Garden? You remember that?
I remember the Rock Garden really well. And that was another place where you'd have to load in all the stuff going down the stairs, up and down the stairs to the street. I remember all that. And I used to sweat so much in those days that it used to come off me in sheets. And that's how the headband started, because I just literally couldn't see. My sweat would sting my eyes, and I didn't used to be able to see my cord through my tears, because my eyes were burning. And in fact, I was playing it. I remember one night at the Marquee, and there's sheets of sweat going out into the crowd every time this little fella stuck a note up, and I picked it up and read it. It said, "More liquid gumption, please."
With the Sultans, with the Sultans on swing. In a crowd of young boys, they're fooling around in the corner. Drunken dressing their baggies in their platform soles. We don't give a damn about any trumpet playing band. It ain't what they call rock and roll. Then the Sultans, yeah, the Sultans play Creole.
In Sultans of Swing, for instance, for playing it on stage, I'll start playing the first thing that comes into my head as we're going along, but then I'll have a little musical signal, or whatever. It'll be some little thing that the band will hear and will know that we're coming up towards the turn, so we're doing 170 miles an hour and the corner is approaching, and that they will at least be ready. and then we're going to go, and then the thing is going to end. But in the bit before that, you've had some time to maybe try a couple of different things.
Steps right up to the microphone. Says at last, just as the time bell rings. Now it's time to go home. And he makes it fast with one more thing. We are the Sultans. The Sultans on swing.
What is also quite interesting is that certain songs just seem to want to go on no matter how much stuff your new stuff you're doing. And as long as I enjoy playing them, I wrote them and I'll play them, but as long as it doesn't feel like cabaret, I'm in. Romeo and Juliet, for example, there you go. I mean, there's one. It just seems to survive. And it seems to have stood the test of time.
So love struck a Romeo, got a serenade, laying everybody low with a love song that he made. Finds a convenient streetlight, steps out of the shade, says something like, you and me, babe, how about it? Juliet says, hey, it's Romeo, you need to give me a heart attack. He's underneath the window, she's singing, hey, love, my boyfriend's back. You shouldn't come around here, singing up at people like that. Anyway, what you gonna do about it? Juliet, the dice was loaded from the start, and I bet, yeah, I knew it exploded in my heart, and I forget the movie song. When you're gonna realize it was just that the time was wrong. Juliet, Juliet.
That was Romeo and Juliet from 1992's On Every Street tour and the album On the Night. Little did we know that would signal the end of Dire Straits as an ongoing band. Here's John Illsley.
Well, we packed a hell of a lot into that time. I think it was enough. And I think that definitely Mark was moving off in a different direction. And I completely understood the fact that he wanted to put that machine away. You know, he'd had enough of it, really. And I completely understood that. So we had a very open conversation before the end of the tour. It was like, okay, I didn't want to carry on. I wanted to do something different, and I didn't really want to keep that machine rolling, because what do you do with it? I mean, when you get to that stage, to 7 million people on the last tour, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you can't, okay, you can go and play to another 7 million people, but we never did it for money, to be honest. We really didn't. And so it wasn't a question of, keeping the bank manager happy or keeping the family happy or whatever. It was enough. It was enough. And as a consequence of that, our friendship has matured and stayed the course of time.
When we were doing the On Every Street tour, it was massive because we had to take our own stage and enormous lighting rig, and you get extra truck drivers in and extra everything. But it just got so big, and I just wanted to go another way. And if playing in huge, great places all the time suits some people, and then it's great. I mean, good luck to them, and some people feel really at home in it. I wouldn't say I felt out of place in it, but I never really dug it, where I felt it was a fix that I needed to have as a permanent part of my life.
Let's finish up with the song that closed a ton of Dire Straits shows, as well as many of Mark Knopfler's solo shows. And how does Mark look back on the Dire Straits days?
I'm very grateful to all of it, to everybody, and for the whole thing. And I'm still great pals with John. So it's been a fantastic ride. It's phenomenal. And actually, I still play those songs when I go on tour myself. I wrote those songs, and I'm pleased to play them for people. When I start to play a song like Romeo and Juliet or Brothers in Arms or those things, I'm just delighted to be there playing them.
That was Going Home from the live album Alchemy, now part of the new Dire Straits Live 1978 to 1992 box set, available in both 8 CD and 12 LP configurations. You can get yours at Rhino.com. Shivers in the Dark, On the Road with Dire Straits was produced by Paul Sexton for Rhino Entertainment. All rights reserved.